Hello everybody, welcome back to the Capstone project. This is episode 5, and today we're going to be talking about motherboards. Probably what most people believe is the scariest looking component, but we're going to go over it in pretty simple detail, so let's get started. So this is your motherboard. It looks very scary, but basically all it is just like a main hub for all of your computer parts to connect together, and it's like a hub for them all to interact with each other. So let's go over all of the features of the motherboard. So this right here is going to be your CPU socket. This is where you put your CPU. You put it right into your motherboard. And then right on top of it is the CPU cooler or the CPU fan. So you put your CPU right in the motherboard in the CPU socket. And that's basically how it's able to interact with all the other parts and get all the other information from the other parts. So these are your memory slots, and basically this is where your RAM is going to go. I said I'd go over RAM this video in the last one, but we're going to go over RAM in the next episode. But basically this is where your RAM or your random access memory is going to go so that it can provide memory to the rest of the parts. This right here, these are your bus slots. So basically, if you want to add like expansion cards to your motherboard, which include graphics cards or any other cards that enhance different functions of your computer. For example, you can put in what's called like a sound card, and it can give you advanced or enhanced features for sound on your computer. This is where you would kind of snap it into your motherboard so that it can interact with all the other parts. And these right here, these are your SATA connectors. And these are ports where you're going to go ahead and connect your storage to. So this can be SATA SSDs or SATA solid state drives for like more modern storage. And you can also plug in your hard drives into this, and it just allows you to connect your storage to the rest of the parts. And some more modern motherboards will include this M.2 slot. This is for more modern, even more modern than the SATA SSDs. There are M.2 SSDs as well as the M.2 slot on your modern motherboards. You can also find this right here, the PCH or the Platform Controller Hub. So this PCH is pretty much the main hub for where all of the information passes through and goes to other parts to interact with those parts and to be interpreted or used. So on older motherboards, you used to have what was called a chipset, which included a north bridge and a south bridge. And in simple terms, the north bridge would interact with everything on the northern half. So that would include your CPU slot, your RAM slots, and the northernmost PCI Express slot, or the Express bus. Whereas the south bridge would interact with your SATA connectors, the other bus slots, etc. So instead of having two different bridges for your chipset, they just included it in one PCH on your motherboard, which makes it a lot less cluttered, a lot more simple. So these right here on the side of your motherboard are input-output interfaces. So what these interfaces do is, you've most likely seen them if you've looked at the back of a computer. They're basically what you just plug your cords into. What you're going to have the most of on the back is your USB ports, because that's what most peripherals use. So that would include headphones, microphones, speakers, some printers, keyboards, mice, all that stuff. Now on older computers, there may also be these 3.5 millimeter jacks, which basically they're the old like circular headphone jacks. There's going to be some video ports. However, if you're using a graphics card, you're probably not going to want to plug into the video ports in the CPU. You're going to want to use your graphics card. You may also have this right here, which is where you plug Ethernet into so that you can get hardwired internet instead of using wireless internet, which the wired internet is faster. So motherboards come in all different shapes and sizes. Mostly like similar shape, mostly rectangular, but they come in different sizes. So the most common that you're going to see pretty much everywhere is going to be called ATX, which stands for Advanced Technology Extended. It was created in 1995 and is pretty much the standard for all motherboards. Another one you might see is the Micro ATX. As the name suggests, Micro ATX boards are smaller than ATX boards. These ones are going to be in a square shape. And pretty much they're better in some ways. They're cheaper than ATX motherboards. They do have less features, but they also consume less power, and they're designed to fit in smaller PC cases. So if you want a more compact PC, then you might want to try to use a micro ATX motherboard. Alright, so that's pretty much all about motherboards. The one thing to know about them is that they're pretty much just the hub for where everything in your PC is gonna go through, all the information, and where all the parts interact together. That's about it. What's the next episode? I think I'm gonna include RAM and storage in the next episode. So yeah, thanks for watching. Keep watching if you want to learn about RAM and storage, and that's about it. Thank you. Goodbye.